Yeah, Joel's back at the BaconBit.
Oh, wow, guys. This is a long-awaited, anticipated moment in the history of Baconsale.
We've done some big Bacon Bits this year. We did, let's see, Pirates.
Yeah, it was big.
We did My Little Pony. We've done some pretty mediocre Bacon Bits here, but nothing's going to be more mediocre than the one today.
Not mediocre. We can't pitch it as that. It's just old.
No. This is because we love you, listener. This is what this is.
This is because when we did our...
this is a digital manifestation of love.
Hipster horror flick picks. That's hard for me to say. We asked the listener, hey, why don't you give us some ideas for a hipster flick pick, one of your favorite hipster flick picks? And then we got a bunch of responses, including one from Tom Nielsen, who said, you guys need to watch The Horror Express from 1972, starring Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
And for some reason, Joel said, that's the one we need.
Well, we wanted one.
And no other will do.
We wanted one that was none of us had seen, first of all. So there were some good suggestions. We're like, yeah, I've seen that one. We wanted one that was good and looked interesting. And I think my comment on this one was Grand Moff Tarkin and Count Dooku. Interesting.
Is it the ghost of Grand Moff Tarkin or the real Grand Moff?
One.
Oh, okay. And these two are horror legends.
They've been in a ton of those Hammer horror movies. Yeah,
exactly.
I want to be like they're horror legends in their family or something.
No. And Christopher Lee especially.
Yeah.
I mean, he was Dracula for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
For Pete's sake, he was Dracula.
And who was Pete?
Poor Pete.
Oh, poor Pete.
Anyway, speaking of Pete, Tom.
One of you out there. Speaking of Pete.
Thank you everyone.
Speaking of Pete.
Thank you everyone. It's the name. Thank you everyone for your suggestions. And Tom, thank you specifically because we did watch Horror Express and we were about to give it our Baconsale review.
Do you know why I was so happy about this recommendation?
Why?
It was free on YouTube.
Yeah, but at a price.
Okay, you're right. It was not free.
There were. We were like, okay, let's find one we can find real quick online, and that one happened to be in full on YouTube. But there was a ton of grainy and awful versions out there, and I found one, and I was like, oh, HD.
And we're snobs. We want the HD.
Well,
on
it
YouTube.
looks better. It's easier to watch, and so I pull up this HD one, and it's on a channel called Johnny
Necropolis.
Johnny Necropolis.
Yes.
That was it.
And it starts out with like this weird intro, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
And the audio's all weird, and I'm like, what's going on with this guy?
It's like this guy trying to be like the ghost of Dean
How come
Martin.
every word he says falls flat?
He's in his mom's basement, and he has blankets laying around and some pillows on the ground. It's a little bit weird. I don't trust any guy that would...
He's made himself a little intro, too, before the show starts.
By the way, that's just me. Anyways. But yeah, no, he's like Mr. Like... Yeah, he's got this fake mustache going. He's got a little goblet as well, and he wants to be the crypt keeper. In a way.
Oh, man. He should totally be our image for this.
I think he's going to be.
We can't use the movie poster.
Oh, yeah, we can't. It's not family friendly.
No. Yeah, I actually just pulled up his channel here on YouTube, and he has 223 subscribers.
I'm going to subscribe to him. Everyone go subscribe to Johnny Phantasmic.
Johnny Necropolis.
Yeah, that's the one.
But
he's super terrible, guys.
I'm looking at it, and all his channel is just, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. And they're all, only 5 movies and an intro. And they're all him just talking at the beginning. Like he has that little intro like, oh, today we're going to have a spooky movie by Vincent Price and da-da-da-da. But then during the middle of the movie, randomly, he pops in.
Yeah, like Mystery Science Theater. He takes a little break, ruins the pace of the movie.
Yeah, just one break in the middle to be like, hey, did you know that, gives a little fact. I think he only did that so he could claim fair use because he's making a commentary on a work.
Right.
But he's posting these films in their entirety.
And actually, if you show a film like without breaks or music without breaks, they can come after you for that. But apparently he's getting away with something.
Yeah.
Because of the commentary.
But we're not reviewing Johnny Necropolis today. We're reviewing...
Bless him. Anytime we talk about him, we need to just say bless him.
Bless Johnny Necropolis.
Yeah, bless
and
him.
the first... Just so you're aware...
Bless his heart.
The first... few minutes of this are going to be spoiler free. Don't worry. We're not going to spoil this 1972 horror movie. But then we'll get into spoiler territory. We'll make a clear delineation when that occurs.
Yes, we will. All right, so Joel, do you have a synopsis of Horror Express?
Horror Express, 1972. In 1906, in China, a British anthropologist discovers a frozen prehistoric creature and must transport it to Europe by train.
Ooh.
Now, this sounds horrific.
You don't mean that at all.
I don't, but... I do love the idea. Have you guys ever been on a passenger train before?
No, and it's actually my dream.
Yeah, my wife too. She says she always wanted to go on one.
Yeah.
And so
We're going to go sometime.
Mine's to go
you're
on one
allowed.
with
Yeah.
Kent, actually. So
And Joel's wife.
You could be the third wheel, like in this movie when he wants to be alone with the girl, and then Christopher Lee walks in and he's like, I have this cart now, and goes and sits on the top bunk.
Right. And then we're going to find a little ape man with red eyes.
Now, Kent, give me your synopsis. Since that was
Spoilers.
IMDb, and give me your Kent summary as you normally would.
Oh, okay. Well, it's going to be like 10 minutes long, and I'm going to spoil the movie if it's a Kent summary.
Well, don't spoil the movie. Just give it.
Christopher Lee finds an ape man in Tibet, we'll
Sure.
say.
can we just
And
call him by other character names?
He wakes up, ape man.
No, Dooku or
Oh, yeah.
Dooku or Grand Moff Tarkin.
Dracula Dooku.
Dracula Dooku and Tarkin.
He brings this ape man, the frozen ape man, onto the train. The ape man wakes up, and anytime he looks at anyone, they go blind and their brains go soft. And they die.
Their brains are hard. They're like hard boiled.
No. Yeah, their brains become smooth. If you
Smooth.
remember. All the wrinkles go away.
Smooth
when they
like
do the autopsy.
a baby's bottom, I think they
Which
said.
good effects I thought on that part.
Yeah, no,
when
I
they
agree.
Cut when they did the autopsy and cut open heads. So I thought that was good.
So basically, it's a monster story, but it becomes so much more.
Well, and I was just I was allured by
Suppose
the
that's true.
fact. I was allured by the fact that it was Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
Yes.
At first, and then when
Telly Savalas.
Telly Savalas is in it too. Yes. No, but it was when
Is
I
that
found
the
out.
Countess?
No,
Or the spy?
that's the guy.
Oh.
That's like the overacting Russian general.
Oh gosh.
But it was
Yes.
when I found out that this movie was based on Who Goes There by John W. Campbell.
You mean the basis of the thing?
The Thing, A Thing from Another World.
Really?
Yes. It's the same basis. And I went, oh, this is intriguing because it is about, the monster doesn't assume other people's identities.
No.
But it takes their memories and their knowledge and then builds on that.
well, this seems to be like spoiler territory now.
Well, that's what the monster does. We're not saying what happens.
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
I don't ruin this movie, please.
If we're gonna go through the effort of saying spoiler free, spoiler full, we should just abide by it.
We
That's
should.
all.
So, Ken, why don't you give us your experience of while watching it?
I really wanted this to be a background movie. In fact, I was writing some stuff, actually some stuff for our other show,
had the same
upcoming
problem,
show,
actually.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm not really giving a fair viewing to this movie. And I've missed the first 5 minutes. Someone went blind, and I don't even understand what's going on. And then so I just threw my computer to the side, and I actually sat
Literally,
there.
we had to get him a new computer.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I started
With a good
enjoying.
power cord.
I enjoyed the movie just because it was not only a monster movie, but then it became kind of a demonic movie. Sorry, I'm doing the Kent synopsis. And then a zombie movie. And I'm like, this movie kind of has it all. And it's very British.
It's very British. Everyone's stiff upper lip and
Indeed.
doesn't want to get into it.
In fact,
yeah.
The best line of the movie is someone says, he could be one of us. Any one of us could be a monster. And Peter Cushing says, a monster? We're British, you know.
Yes.
And I'm like, actually, I laughed out loud. I was like,
I did too,
because
actually.
they're so polite and proper. Of course they can't be monsters.
Yeah, it's just funny. Jacob, what about you?
Are we giving it a rating?
We want to jump into that. We can.
I mean, do you want to go now at the end of your
Yeah,
synopsis?
C+. I'm just going to throw it out there.
I wasn't very enthusiastic. C plus.
C plus, yeah. Okay, yeah. So the synopsis is pretty covered. So I'll just tell you my experience, which was 1972. The audio was kind of throwing me off, and probably we're going to talk about this, but I'll go ahead and mention it now.
Go for it. Yeah.
They actually recorded the whole movie silent, right? Like the whole thing was acted out at first, completely silent, no audio recording, because they were literally on the train, from what I understand.
Also, it is,
Right?
I believe it's an Italian horror movie, and that is not out of the ordinary for Italian genre films.
No,
Yeah.
So they all the audio is added in post, and it shows. It's awkward at times, and you're like, "What's going on? Why do they sound so loud now?" And then
At
anyway.
the very beginning, I was like, "How far is Peter Cushing from the microphone?"
It's true.
yeah.
It's like Jake season 1.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Like let's just do a quick synopsis, real quick. Jacob, just talk about as if you're finding, you're bringing the cart onto the train. Okay, and you're Christopher Lee. I'll be Peter Cushing.
Here's my cart. You must put it here.
What is in the cart?
None of your business.
Please tell me.
It's stone. It's a what did they call it?
You guys are just having a good
call
time.
it,
You don't have to keep going.
That's just what it felt like, though. It felt like I was like they're in different rooms recording.
Yeah, it was-
They
it
got
was-
they got it later on, but
They did.
Freaking Dooku was so loud. He was booming in that thing, right?
Well,
he's
it's
Christopher
Dooku.
Lee.
Yeah. But that part was separate, and then I'm watching and I'm like, oh, this isn't, it's cheesy 70s thing, but the premise kept me going, kind of like Kent. I had the experience where I tried multitasking, and I it wasn't quite fair. And
Right.
and I had to pay attention. Actually, the first while I was like, crap, I'm missing things. I do not know what's going on. So I backed up a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to pay attention. Darn it. Right. You know?
But did you not even care because so many people die? Like you didn't remember their names at the begining. And
No,
so you're
I-
like, they
I-
just die and you're, oh, okay.
I was loving them dying. Honestly, that sounds weird.
No, it doesn't. Jake.
Sounds like Jacob.
I was like, oh wow, the stakes are pretty good here. You know,
Yeah.
like people keep dying, and but at the end of the day, I'm with you, Ken. It's C plus,
Yeah.
and but it was enjoyable. So yeah,
Well, apparently
I'll save the rest for spoilers.
Apparently, I'm the only one who has respect for movies because I went into this. Okay, I put my phone down. I was like, I'm just going to watch this as
Yeah.
if I were watching a movie that I
Like a brand new movie. Yes, exactly.
The movie itself,
Not something from YouTube.
not
We had no respect for YouTube and Johnny Necropolis.
the movie itself.
Bless him.
Not as scary as I thought it was going to be.
No.
But some good effects.
Yeah, you're
like
right.
Some visual effects that I come with. That's going to stick with me.
Like autopsies.
Yeah.
Like several autopsies.
Several autopsies with smooth brains.
Ew. And
I mean, we'll get
we'll get
spoiler
into this.
full.
Okay, so what's your grade? Let's get into spoilers.
My grade is going to be about the same as you guys. I think C plus is fair because while it is a run of the mill whodunit, not whodunit, just that one by one getting killed off. It's like a slasher movie before the slasher movies. Aside from the effects, I thought were better than average. It was an average movie, so
Yeah.
I think C plus is fair.
Yay, C plus is all around.
All around, wow.
Yeah.
Yay for Horror Express and its C plus. That's Baconsale approved.
No, but Tom, thank you once again for
You're
recommending
welcome,
this. We enjoy it, and now let's get into spoiler full territory, guys. Spoilers.
It's time for a spoiler. We're British, you know.
Are we? Ah, yes, we
are British.
Okay. So the monster was an alien.
See, I didn't know.
He was a life force. He was a.
Because they allude to the fact that it's the devil at one point.
The priest
it's
guy
just the
believes
priest.
You
he's
mean
the devil.
Rasputin?
Yes, pretty much.
Rasputin believes that it's the devil because it's something evil, but it doesn't really make sense though because
No, but-
it's not.
Okay,
not
we
the devil.
should clarify. So this monster, what it does, it has a glowing red eye, and then if you look at the glowing red eye,
You freeze.
It boils your brain.
Yes.
and it gets all your memories, and the eyes turn white with like blood running down them, which that was just horrific to me.
Yeah.
You know I have an eye thing.
I know you do.
And then it gets all your memories, and it's able to kind of, I don't know, become a higher being because of that.
Yes.
Well, it was actually that part was clever. In fact, when he's in the cage and he's like picking the lock,
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. They already said he's 2 million
I
years
know.
old.
And then I
how
went-
is he picking the lock?
And that's when I picked up on, the first person he killed
was a thief.
was a lockpicker.
And I was like, oh, well done. Okay, they actually tied that in.
That made sense.
Yeah.
And the creature looked good, except for when they put the red eyes on other people.
Like you go to
Right.
lunch with him, or like
yeah.
He looks good.
Kim would take him to yogurt at
yeah,
least.
I'm not the single one.
For an hour.
Just an
1
hour.
hour.
Just an hour. Yeah.
And then also, in addition to the ability to just boil people's brains, he can also transfer his consciousness once again just by a look.
Right.
Because when an inspector, a Scottish inspector, comes and which his Scottish accent came and went throughout the movie.
You're right.
He went to he shot him, and as he did, the monster looked at him, and just in that glance, he was able to transfer consciousness. Which I went,
Well, that's the
actually
thing.
kind of
Like
scary.
you can kill this monster, and that's where I feel like it's more demonic than alien like, where it's like its spirit can travel, its evil spirit can travel from person to person.
But it could also be strictly biological. That maybe some eye juice comes out, and I missed.
Except for this one part,
I missed.
where one guy is trying to hide the fact that he is the monster
'Cause his hand
Except
is-
for he has one furry hand.
Yeah.
And it keeps like growing furriness, right? Is that
Yeah.
what was happening?
It's
Like-
immediate too.
Well, it's because he was becoming the monster. He was going to turn into that same being.
yeah, but that doesn't really make sense though.
It doesn't.
A lot of this movie doesn't make sense.
Like because he said that he took over this ancient being because he had been like amoebas and stuff, right? So he was jumping around. So it's like
Right.
here's this ape man, I'll take him over.
But it is really clever. I mean, what was the whole point of the monster, though? Was it getting to civilization so he could just take over everybody?
No,
Yeah.
he was interested in the steel. Remember? Because he wanted. I thought.
Oh yeah, I think he wanted a ship to get back home.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I.
Oh,
Could
then
make
why not
this.
help him out? Everybody.
because
Peter
he was killing
Cushing.
people in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to kill.
Like
everybody.
he wants to kill the one guy who knows about what was it, like ancient civilizations or something, I can't remember, but
Yeah.
he sought out people that he could take over, And I thought that was good. That was a good little twist to it.
But maybe the fallout would have been he killed everyone on the planet, because everyone who died on the plane, anyone that he made go blind, he was able to raise up and to become his army of the dead.
That part was really good, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Well, he's holding the gun on him, and he's like, "Oh, but you don't know." And then he starts rocking back and forth, and I'm like, "He's doing something bad. Shoot him! He's doing something bad." And then all the zombies.
You're yelling at your YouTube.
Well, I also love how the way they reveal the monster, because they're all like, well, is he a monster? Is he not? And the guy, and then I think it's Christopher Lee goes and turns off the lights, and his eyes glow red.
Oh, right.
And it's like, aha!
We can't hide in the dark.
Which the red prosthetic eyes they have over the villain looked really bad.
Yeah.
And
whatever, they were awesome.
Yeah. But then they decide, like, it was going pretty good. And then once they get the monster and perform the monster's body, because I think it's dead, they don't know the inspector is now possessed. They get the monster's body, they do an autopsy, and they take out one of its eyeballs. And they do like a slice. Yeah, they cut into the eyeball, which, if you know me, you know that is like the worst thing ever.
Well, it is the worst thing ever.
And they're jabbing this eyeball. Like it looks
Poke my eye.
Don't.
Come on.
It looks like a real like cow eyeball probably, or something like that. They're jabbing with a needle.
Because the special effects beyond that were really kind of awkward, like their red eyes. Mm-hmm. I feel like they got weird tissue, like the brains, they got something going there.
There's something smooth brains.
Like it was like a cow liver, and I feel like the eyes were probably real cow brains or cow eyes.
Like the eyes are really
cow brains and cow eyes.
But then the best part, and this, I don't know, this reminded me of Wild Wild West. But they take
then you must love it.
No, they take the juice from the eye and a little drop of blood, and they put it under a microscope, and they see a full-on picture of the inspector shooting him. It's like, the last thing he saw is burned into his mind. And I'm like, okay, that's cool.
You've seen it in other movies, though, right?
Well, in Wild Wild
Is it in Wild Wild West?
That's where they do the last thing they see. Which I was like, okay, last thing they see, fine. But then they start looking at other areas of the eye
and then
juice.
it's like a slide, right? They're just like,
click,
and then
it's like,
look, dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Here's the prehistoric planet from outside, in the atmosphere.
They see a picture of the Earth, and from that they deduce, he came here from another planet. Or looked at a painting of the Earth, maybe.
Well,
it was 1906, Joel.
I guess it was 1906. But still, at the same time, it just got kind of ridiculous, but entertainingly ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, look, I'm glad. We're spoiling it, right? It's okay.
Yeah, we're spoiling.
I mean, the two leads here, they survived at the end, and that was fine.
That was surprising.
Yeah, I actually thought one of them would die. Like, I thought Christopher Lee would go evil. I mean, both of them played so many villains in their time.
But they're usually against each other in all those horror movies. It's like Lee versus Cushing, almost the entire, like Cushing's Van Helsing and Lee is Dracula. But this one they actually got to work together, and it actually almost didn't happen because Peter Cushing's wife actually passed away in February, I think it was, and this was August or September.
Oh wow!
And he was hired on to do it, and he was going to quit, but then Christopher Lee talked him into doing the role to kind of help him out get through.
If there's any movie that will help me get over grieving, it's the Horror Express.
It's all the voice acting into the microphone. That's why he's so far away. He's despondent.
Yeah, he's sitting on his couch in his blanket like,
I'm sad. I'm very sad.
Oh, my lines.
But no, I thought performance wise it was fine. Story wise it was fine. It was actually entertaining. Now I guess here's the big question though, fellas. First of all, you also thought the Countess was quite attractive, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that goes without question.
Surprisingly so. I was like, actually, that's weird.
She's actually the reason I stopped typing and just started watching the movie.
You're like, pause this. She's holding a poodle. I'm into
But
this.
the point I was going to make was, would you recommend that people watch this horror movie as a horror movie? Like,
yes, actually.
Yeah?
I'm giving it a C+, which is not a great warm review.
It's better than average.
It is better than average, and this is the kind of movie if you want like a Hammer horror type film,
campy horror,
which isn't super objectionable.
You have to be okay with the old style, right? Old special effects, things like that, because otherwise, you're going to dismiss it.
It's an easy way to pass an hour and a half and still be like, glad I saw it. Yeah, sort of.
Yeah. I would say the same thing. That this seems to me to be kind of maybe a bridge horror for, I don't know, kids who are not quite ready to handle the heavy horror, but they can maybe handle one of these lesser ones, which it does say rated R.
Oh, is it really?
It says rated R on IMDb, which I went, there's no way this is rated R.
They do cut heads open. Like you see them remove the skull.
And that is probably one of the big things that was shocking to see, kind of this just body being cut open. And they show like them prying open the head, but it's not like from the top angle, it's from the bottom.
Okay, guys, can I ask you? which movie is going to be better, Horror Express or Murder on the Orient Express?
You mean the one that's coming out
Yeah, the
now?
upcoming one.
Yeah, I'd like to hope that Murder on
I
the
would
Orient
like to
Express would be
hope, too.
better.
I think Horror Express is going to be a better movie.
It probably would be.
Oh, man, I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm
No,
right.
Kenneth Branagh knows what he's doing.
Does he?
He does. He
Director
does.
of Thor?
Well,
Okay.
you like Cinderella? And you
I did like Cinderella.
You like old Shakespeare. His old Shakespeare movies are great.
Stop it.
But
They are.
You're right.
May I ask, though, what was Telly Savalas doing in this movie?
He was sleeping. He was sleeping in at least 3 scenes, and then he just chewed the scenery.
That's all he did.
That's all he did. He came in like an hour and 15 minutes into it, and there
I
were
didn't
only
even
15 minutes left.
understand what he was.
Yeah,
right? I'm
it was-
like,
He's
why
a rabble
are you
rouser.
there?
He was like a Russian guy that just wanted to kill everybody.
If you
apparently.
don't know who Telly Savalas is, he's a very famous bald actor. He was in Kojak. He was in what's that one? Dirty Dozen. He was Blofeld. Yeah, in James Bond. That's right. But he's very famous, and that was so weird, is seeing this big famous guy kind of pop up and stand around. I think it was just
I think they needed a villain with a name,
yes,
and then they brought him in at the end of like the whole process.
Yeah.
just because Cushing and Lee were not the villains.
which
So-
they make good villains, but they make a good duo.
Yeah, they do. They should have had like a buddy comedy thing.
They
going.
kind of did, like how they just kind of annoyed each other.
Right.
I got a kick out of that. Anyway, so there you go. There is our review for 1972.
the relevant movie Horror Express.
Now, listener, if you're into this sort of thing, maybe we can do it again in the future. But if this is only cool for Tom, is that who it was?
Yeah, Tom Nielsen.
If this is only cool for you, Tom, I don't know if we're going to keep doing this. But
thank you.
Let us know, everybody else.
Thank you, Tom, for the suggestion. Thank you, everyone, for your suggestions. We're sorry we couldn't get to them all, but we have a lot of horror movies to watch.
We do.
And a lot of work to do for our upcoming show, which is coming out on Monday. So look forward to that. This has been Baconsale.
Nothing else?
Nope. Here, in our little village of Anatevka, every one of us is a fiddler on the roof.